So I'm Sally Dale from the Koch Institute Development Office, and I wanted to welcome you today to the second day of our 2009 Oncology Solutions Forum, and welcome especially to those of you who were not here with us yesterday. We're very glad to have you here. For those of you who are fresh today, the booklets that you received when you came in have a program for today's forum. You will see that we've scheduled regular breaks because I can tell this is a lively crowd. It's good. There are some blank pages bound into your books for note-taking, and there's a map of the campus. The ladies' room is right outside the door, and the gentlemen's room is on the other side. Or you go around the fourth floor lobby, and it's down the hallway there. We have beverages right inside the room, so you can hear the remarks all day long. And I think that's all the housekeeping. So let me introduce to you Dane Wittrup. He's our Associate Director of the Koch Institute, and he is the Carbon P. Dubs Professor of Chemical and Biological Engineering. He earned his undergraduate degree in chemical engineering at the University of New Mexico and his master's and PhD in chemical engineering at the California Institute of Technology. He conducted his postdoctoral research at Amgen and was a professor of chemical engineering, biophysics, and bioengineering at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where his research program initially focused on drug manufacturing. He's been a member of the MIT faculty since 1999 when he began his research in drug discovery. The Wittrup Lab develops protein engineering technology and applies it to the discovery of new biopharmaceuticals. A particular focus is on the development of anti-cancer drugs and understanding the pharmacological principles of how new biomolecular therapies work, with the goal of improving their effectiveness in patients. Please join me in welcoming Dane. Thank you for coming, Dane.
So good morning. It's good to see a couple of familiar faces from just last week at the KDMS event, and it's a pleasure to be here. For those joining this morning, welcome. If you missed yesterday, there will be a DVD available. These proceedings are being taped, and so you can take them home and show them to your kids. That's right, and I'm sure it would be their preferred programming. So I wanted to tell you just a little bit about how I came to be here. As Sally mentioned, I'm a chemical engineer and biological engineer. Unlike some of my colleagues, I wasn't born at MIT in the sense that people who are trained here as undergrads, grads, faculty, and we're lucky enough to always be here. So I know how good this place is because I've been other places. So I did my graduate training at Caltech. I was a faculty member for 10 years at University of Illinois. And I can tell you that at other places, to use a Broadway show tune reference, MIT is the damn Yankees. Everybody watches MIT. MIT is the place that changes the world. And so to come here was a really exciting thing for me 10 years ago, to join the people who are doing the work that I was watching from outside. And then within MIT now, new things are happening all the time. Our new president has set out two big objectives: energy and the merger of engineering and biology. And in the second category, then, the Koch Institute is MIT's big statement to the world. This is what we're going to do. This large building with all of these people in it are going to work on this problem, and we're accountable for that. We're telling everybody this is what we're going to do. And MIT has a way of actually delivering on those promises. So this is an unusual organization, the Koch Institute. I'm not aware of any similar research organization. There are a number of cancer research centers, but none with MIT engineers involved at the level they're involved here. To take about a dozen MIT engineering faculty and put them in a building with their entire groups, with about a dozen or so leading cancer biologists, and have the postdocs run into each other in the hall, sit and eat lunch together, walk by each other's posters as they walk to the lab. This is how the magic happens. At this place, the engagement is at every level, from the undergrads to the grads, through the postdocs to the faculty. And when we put all those people together in that building, I have absolutely no doubt that unexpected things are going to happen, and it's really exciting. To give another example of what it's like to be at MIT, yesterday I got on the elevator and a guy got on next to me wearing camouflage. and shaved head, and I looked back, and it was my colleague Mike Yaffe, who's a star biology professor here. I said, Mike, I didn't know you were in the reserve. He says, yeah, well, you know, it gives me a chance to use my trauma surgery training. I said, I play Scrabble in my time off, right? You know, and this is MIT. You know, this is the sort of individual that you run into all the time. The people here want to change the world, and they're doing it. So you've got a real treat today in terms of the people you get to hear from. To start off with, in this first session, a couple of my colleagues, Bob Langer, who's essentially the founder of the field of drug delivery, trying to figure out how to get drugs to diseased tissues. And he's really leading the way in trying to understand how to use new nanotechnology to do this. And then after that, Daryl Irvin, a colleague of mine in biological engineering, who's at the lead wave of engineers intimately engaged with biology. And just another short anecdote, a couple days ago, I went to Daryl's biology departmental seminar. And as I was sitting there, I noticed that Tyler came in with somebody who looked a lot like Harold Varmus, who was a Nobel Prize winner, head of NIH, now president of the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. I thought, it's probably not really, it's probably just a guy who looks like him. And Daryl gave a spectacular talk, and then at the end the guy got up and walked by and said, yeah, that really was Harold Varmus. And so I asked Daryl by email, and Tyler said, you know, what happened there? He said, well, you know, he came here, and because he's at a place that doesn't have engineering like MIT, he had a certain degree of skepticism as to whether or not this would be a worthwhile thing. But by the end of the day, he was convinced, and I was not surprised, because I was convinced as well. So in case I haven't conveyed clearly enough, I am just, you know, beside myself with excitement to be in the middle of what's going on here, and I really am grateful to all of you for, you know, your support in helping make it happen. It's part of why this is such a great place, is the broad network of support and people like yourselves who care about this place and come back and help us out. And with that, let's move on to the talks.